In the last few days, President Trump visited the Federal Reserve and announced a trade deal framework with Europe as divisions over the quote-unquote Epstein files persist among his base and the Republican Party at large. Let's start with what happened last Friday. The president and South Carolina Senator Tim Scott joined Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell for a tour of the Fed's renovation project. The project has been subject to cost overruns due to inflation and other factors. The president brought this up during the tour, causing a disagreement with Powell before the cameras.
It looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Powell would then tell Trump that his figure is higher due to his inclusion of a third building, which was actually completed 5 years ago. In recent weeks, the president has raised concerns over the project price tag, and even suggested that wrongdoing may be involved. But given the timing of these concerns, some have come to the conclusion that he may be attempting to use the cost overruns as cause to fire Powell, who he has publicly pressured to lower interest rates.
Are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates.
Powell alone cannot do that, as a 12-member committee on which he sits makes interest rate decisions. Not only that, the Fed tends to be insulated from politics, as short-term political calls can have long-term negative implications for the overall economy. Switching gears to Sunday, joined by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen in Scotland, the president announced a framework of an EU trade deal. He says $750 billion worth of energy will be purchased by European nations from the US, that they will invest an additional $600 billion in the United States, and that, quote, a vast amount of military equipment will be purchased from the US. What the president calls a, quote, straight-across tariff of 15% will be applied to automobiles. This framework agreement follows another that was made with Japan in the last week, which the White House says includes $550 billion of new Japanese investment in the US. A broad tariff of 15% was also a component of that agreement. There is a possibility both deals, due to their 15% tariff stipulation, raise prices if importers pass the cost on to consumers. Today in Scotland, alongside British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, the president was asked about a Wall Street Journal story that alleges he sent a 50th birthday letter to Jeffrey Epstein with a drawing of a naked woman and the words "Happy Birthday" and "May every day be another wonderful secret."
I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person.
Do you think it was fraudulent?
I don't do drawings. Sometimes people say, would you draw a building, and I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, for a charity, so. But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women, that I can tell you.
The president also said he, quote, never had the privilege of visiting the private island Epstein owned, which had been used for the trafficking of underage girls.
I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
Reporting in Toledo, Ohio, I'm Jaden Jefferson.